Have you ever felt like you're walking on eggshells around someone? You say one thing, they think another. You see something harmless, they see stress, or they see a game plan, or a conspiracy. You try to explain calmly, but they take it as disrespect. You try to be respectful, they see some attack. And in the end, somehow you're the one they call soft, or worse, broken, and sometimes naive, or too calm, or too reserved, but not in the way that it seems like they're complimenting you, but in a way that seems like they're suggesting it's a bad thing. If you've ever felt smothered, misunderstood, or blamed for just staying calm, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you will understand why certain people seem so hard to love or be around, and how you can protect your peace without shutting your heart. Sometimes the person who raises their voice the most has cried the deepest, most invisible tears. You see someone who sounds rude, move fast, get angry easily. But what if what you call too harsh, too loud, aggressive was simply how they survived? This video is for the soft-hearted, the ones who value peace, kindness, gentleness, the ones who don't understand why some people always sound like they are fighting. Welcome to Unmasking You, a space where we uncover what shaped us and how we can heal better together. If this resonates, please subscribe. Healing starts with being seen. When you're the soft one in the line of fire. Now let's break that down. Maybe you were raised to believe in kindness, to speak calmly, to wait your turn, to not raise your voice, to ask politely, or even before something was taken from you, people asked politely. Maybe you were raised in a home by both parents who explained their actions and disciplined you with love and warmth. So when someone shouts at you, you freeze. When someone interrupts you, you feel disrespected. When someone seems controlling or reactive, you feel drained. You might ask, why are they always angry? Why do they talk like everything is a war? Why do they talk like everything is a battle? Why can't they just calm down and listen? It makes you uncomfortable, and it's okay to admit that. Your feelings are valid. You deserve respect. We are not trying to enable bad behavior. But one thing you need to understand is that not everyone grew up where you did. Not everyone was allowed to be soft. What you don't see is that some people were raised in homes where silence meant danger, where if you didn't shout, no one listened, where peace wasn't something you were taught, it was something you fought for, and most times lost. Not many people go through that and are still able to maintain or preserve their light. They didn't learn patience because their caregivers were always angry. They didn't learn calmness because everything around them was chaos. That takes a toll on anybody. Things weren't taken from them politely, they were forced out of them. They were not given boundaries. In Nigerian homes especially, we see it often. The firstborn is expected to raise their siblings like a second parent, and at the same time, live the dreams that their parents couldn't live in their youth. In other cases, it could be the secondborn, and in some other cases, even the lastborn who is doing better than his elders, and then he has to fend and provide for them. And when he doesn't, he is being critiqued, mocked. And when someone has to stand up to someone who is older or someone who they have to look up to protect and care for them, that takes a toll on a child or anybody. Boys are told not to cry, girls are told to endure. Any attempt to speak your truth is seen as talking back, growing wings. And those wings are chipped immediately. So what do? You grow a thick skin. You move fast, you raise your voice, you protect yourself, even when no one is attacking. Then they get into the survival mode. You carry survival in your tone and it leaks into every space you enter, even work, even love, even friendships. Now, let's ask ourselves, why are the tough ones hurting you but isn't always wrong? You feel like they don't listen, like they are always ready to fight, like they are never going to apologize. But what if they were never taught how? What if their whole life was built on performing strength to stay safe and then they got stuck there? It's not like we have many facilities to help with mental or stress issues like this, and children are in adults currently in Nigeria. Sometimes that family member who can't say sorry grew up where sorry meant admitting weakness, and weakness was punished. Sometimes that co-worker who shuts everyone down in meetings was once shut down constantly at home. Most and everything begins at home. Yes, they make mistakes. Yes, they need to grow. We do not enable bad behavior. But we must understand that their behaviors didn't come from nowhere. Softness is a privilege and you're lucky to have it. If you grew up in a safe home where people listened, apologized, and respected your voice, your space, you're lucky. If you learned gentleness without being violated, you are lucky. If you've never had to raise your voice to be heard, you are lucky. If you grew up in a home with both parents, you are lucky. If you grew up in a home with a nurturing mother and a present father, you are lucky. If you grew up in a home where your both parents had good jobs, you are lucky. If you grew up in a home where both parents had an understanding about their religion, about their culture, without external interference, you are lucky. If you grew up in a home where your parents and siblings respected your growth and never sabotaged your growth even when they didn't believe in it, but they believed in you because they love you and they genuinely want you to grow, you are so lucky. Softness is a gift, but don't weaponize it against those who never got to hold it. Don't call someone evil just because they were trained for war. Don't call someone aggressive just because your life allowed you calm. And if you truly want peace, then compassion must be part of your peace. Now, how can we coexist without losing ourselves? You don't have to tolerate abuse, but you also don't have to misunderstand everyone who reacts differently. Here's what helps. Set boundaries clearly, calmly, and early. Don't match their tone, they always come prepared. Ask questions like, where is this reaction coming from? Give them space. And also reward vulnerability when they try. When they are vulnerable or when they show vulnerability, isn't the right time to poke? Isn't the right time to critique? Isn't the right time to give advices they didn't ask for? That is the time you listen to understand. And do not mock their vulnerability or their pain. You would be stabbing a wound that is barely healed. Sometimes a person needs to hear, you don't have to defend yourself with me. I'm not your enemy. The goal is not to fix them, it's to see the human inside them. Understanding doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it gives us power to respond differently. Not everyone was raised in love. Some were raised in war and are still learning the language of peace. If you grew up safe, be grateful. But don't forget that others are still on learning survival. We all want peace. Let's build it together. If you haven't still subscribed, please subscribe. Let's grow this space. Unmasked gently, unmasked honestly. This is not weakness. This is healing.